Now, do you ever have trouble getting your little baby or toddler to sleep? Today we're picking the brains of baby sleep consultant Natalie Herman. Hi Natalie, how are you?
My name's Sarah Morrissey and I run Little Rockers Radio, which is an online radio station for children from birth to 6. It's 24/7 and we play songs, nursery rhymes, story time, yoga, meditation through the day and then lullabies right through the night. Well, when my kids were young, I think about probably 2 and 4, I was in the car driving along listening to the Wiggles or something for like the 5,000th time, and I just flicked to try and find a radio station for them and I couldn't find one. So I went home, I sat on it probably for 3 years because I don't have a background in broadcasting or IT or anything like that. And then I ran into a friend who was running his own business and he inspired me and I was like, that's it, I'm just going to do it. So I literally typed into Google, how do you run a radio station or how do you start a radio station? Spent a year looking at what to do. Like, I didn't even know the word streaming really. The only thing, I was one of those typical mums that just puts a CD in a CD player, and taught myself.
A worry can stop us sleeping well at night.
My brother's son passed away from SIDS when he was 16 months old. So I always wanted to have my own something, I didn't know what it was at the time, but something that I could grow and make really big and have a massive impact with, so then I could give back and support Red Nose in some way. One of Little Rockers Radio's marketing campaigns or biggest marketing campaigns is the Little Rockers Red Nose Disco. So that's run through childcare centres nationally and that's how we raise funds. So childcare centres buy a disco pack, the children come in on Red Nose Day with their gold coin donations and they take part in the disco. So this year we raised about $55,000 from that campaign, and the bigger Little Rockers grows and the bigger the audience becomes and the more well known we become and the more sponsors we have on board, the more I'll be able to put into that campaigning to raise more. I feel driven to do it, yeah. I feel like I have a real sense of purpose to do it, because otherwise, the death is kind of in vain, isn't it? Like, how do you, why? Like, you just ask why. So I like to try and find a purpose from it as much as I can. The longer term vision for me is that I want to raise $1 million for Red Nose in 10 years. So that's kind of my 10-year goal. And the reason, even though that doesn't sound like that's a vision for the business, it kind of is, because if the business isn't financially strong and making an impact, then I'm never going to raise $1 million for Red Nose. So even though it doesn't sound like a direct objective, it still is. But that's probably the biggest goal that I've set.